Hi, my name is Brad Owen. I am a professional poker player. I'm a brand ambassador for the World Poker Tour, and I have one of the biggest poker YouTube channels, and I'm part owner of the Lodge Card Club in Austin, Texas.
Hi, Brad. First of all, how long have you been playing poker, and for how long professionally?
I first started playing poker when I was about 15. My dad was in the casino industry, and I'm now 35, so about 20 years.
Wow.
And I originally moved out to Las Vegas to play poker when I was 24. I went broke after the first year and had to move back in with my parents. And then I went back to university and got my master's degree in accounting, and I worked for Ernst & Young for a year. And then I went back to poker after that. So I always took poker very seriously though. I studied it quite a bit, kind of always envisioned myself, playing poker for a living and being in the poker industry.
I see. So accounting was basically a backup. So if ever poker didn't work out or something like that?
Yeah. I mean, I went into accounting thinking that potentially that would be my career, but I realized quickly that my heart wasn't into that career. Yeah.
So poker is really your passion.
Yeah.
When did you realize you want to become a professional? Because there's a huge step between playing sometimes or playing full-time all the time.
From the moment that I picked up poker, I just loved the fact that you could play a game and make money at it and provide for yourself and potentially a family just by playing a card game. And so I immediately took a liking to it, immediately took it seriously. And I told my dad one night when I was 17 that I wanted to play poker for a living. And he told me that he never wanted to hear me say that again. And that's kind of how I started doing the poker vlogs, or why I started doing the poker vlogs, was because I wanted to show my friends and family what my life was like as a professional poker player. It was something that I did take seriously and did want to excel at. And I wasn't just some kind of like degenerate gambler or something.
Yeah. And what was their response when they saw your vlogs for the first time?
My parents, they loved it. Yeah, they immediately saw the response I was getting from the YouTube audience, which I was worried about before starting the vlog. I didn't know how people would react to it, but the reception was really positive, and it was kind of way more positive than I ever would have imagined. I put up my first video in December of 2016, and after an hour of uploading it, I strongly considered taking it down because I didn't know if I really wanted people to watch it. It had 18 views at that point. I was like, oh, I might just look like an idiot putting myself out there, being very vulnerable. And then like a few nights later, YouTube started pushing it. It got hundreds of views and then thousands, and I was getting subscribers every minute. And it was just something that was exciting for me to see that type of response and watch the numbers go up.
And how did that go in the first, let's say 6 to 12 months? Because is that like it went up from 0 to what number?
Yeah, let's see. I think the first year I might have had somewhere around like 25,000 subscribers or so. Yeah, I think that sounds about right. But yeah, it was all pretty steady growth, and there were a handful of vloggers that kind of all started at that time, and I didn't really know if mine was going to take off more than other ones or what. There were other people that were doing really good work and stuff, but yeah, for some reason people kind of just gravitated towards my story and my style of doing the episodes, and it just turned out to be such a cool thing and life-changing thing for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you have like a piece of advice for people that want to start a vlog, a poker vlog?
Sure.
Or actually just want to become like a professional poker player?
Yeah, I think that a lot of people are very concerned about how people will respond to their videos and in the comment section and all that stuff, but I've just found people are really, really nice overall, and that's something that you don't really want to get too overwhelmed thinking about. Just kind of put out your first episode. Mine was terrible, looking back at it for a variety of reasons, but it's also kind of like charming in that regard too, and nostalgic for me to look back at that one occasionally and just think about the things that I thought were going to make the vlog better that like maybe took away from it in kind of a more general sense, but also just kind of make it unique and like funny for me to look back at now. And you can see the evolution of the vlog and different things that I learned and how it was so rough around the edges early on, and now it's, you know, kind of have the formula down and everything's a lot more smooth. But it's cool to figure out your own style along the way. So I would just encourage people to take that leap. I think that no one's ever going to regret doing that, documenting a certain portion of their lives and having that forever. There's so many things that I'm really glad that I filmed, like memories of my dad, for instance, before he passed away, and having that stuff documented and having that stuff to look back on.
Yeah, that's awesome. So basically you never ever had the idea of quitting it?
No, I mean, I think that there's times where it's easy to get a little bit overwhelmed between the traveling and the meetup games and playing poker and trying to find time to do editing in between that. But yeah, definitely didn't want to ever quit. But certainly, you know, sometimes you do need to like take a week off, just take a little mental break.
And with the bigger games, there come bigger swings. Do you have like a mental coach that is helping you with that, for example? Because the swings get really tough. I remember you told me in the meetup game you lost quite heavily back in the lodge.
Yeah. I lost. My biggest downswing before recently was 30,000, and that was actually just in one session at the lodge. But I bounced back immediately. I think like 2 sessions later, I got a $58,000 score playing this tournament at the Poker Go studio. So I bounced back from that quickly. But a couple weeks ago, I played at the lodge. We did our relaunch week because we just built out this really cool studio at the lodge. And to promote it, we wanted to play some massive games. And so I lost $300,000 over 3 sessions, and I just ran about as poorly as possible. And towards the end, I for sure started playing worse and punted off, you know, probably 60 to 80K that I just didn't have to. It was just very, very brutal on the mindset. Yeah, don't have a mindset coach. I mean, maybe it would help, but usually I'm pretty good at bouncing back. And so even in this series, I bounced back. I had a 2nd place finish, and then the next buy-in after that, I final tabled the smaller PLO event. And then I ran pretty deep in the main event here. I got 40th out of 1,000 people, basically for the $1,100 main. So I feel like I'm on the right track now. But yeah, those days where, you know, that first day at the lodge, I lost $144,000. So that was really tough.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. And in your videos, you always talk about Nick Petrangelo, that he helps you a lot with when it comes to poker studying. How big of an impact does he have on your game the last like year or so?
It's really tough to quantify that kind of a thing, but last year I had my best year ever. I won about $350,000 overall between tournaments and cash games, and I sold off certain pieces in some of the bigger games, so $250,000 of it was my portion of the profit. But yeah, it helped a ton. And then he's just such a brilliant poker mind. So we worked together on an upswing course called Smash Live Cash, but that is all finished now. But I still wanted to retain him as my coach. So now I just kind of pay him out of pocket for just my own benefit.
I see. So people cannot avail the packages anymore?
People can still get the course on Upswing.
Upswing.
Yeah, so we recorded some live sessions as part of that Upswing course. But yeah, now that course has been released, and now I'm just doing coaching with him on my own that's separate from the course.
Yeah. You mentioned that you won 250K in the last year. Is there something that you like to spend on, like, or maybe your partner likes to spend some money on?
You know what? I'm a pretty frugal person. Look, I just wear pretty normal clothes, and I like eating Chipotle, and I don't even know if you have Chipotle in Asia. But yeah, I mean, I'm just a regular guy, and so I when things are going well, I think it's nice to, you know, have a nice dinner or something with my girlfriend, but I don't really go out and spend on like lavish things or extravagant things, because you can have downswings. I mean, like I said, lost 300K in February. 200K of that was mine, but yeah, now I'm on the grind to get that money back, and so that's kind of a fun goal for me to have. But I mean, it could be my first losing year that I've ever had, so I'm not super thrilled about that.
Last question. What is your biggest dream that you still have when it comes to poker?
Winning a major tournament. So we have so many opportunities with the World Poker Tour now, and that's something that's been really exciting for me. I've had some really deep runs on the main tour. I got 24th in an event at the Hard Rock in Tampa, I believe. I got 35th in the World Championship out of 3,000 players. And so that was like so close to really my first ever six-figure score. I won 99,600. So I was $400 short from the six-figure score. And really when you make it that deep, I kind of had my mind set on a seven-figure score because the top six made $1 million or more. And I came into day 5, 5th in chips, but just I got it in the pocket kings and lost to ace king in a massive cooler early on in day 5. But yeah, getting a proper six-figure score, winning a title, and yeah, maybe getting a seven-figure score. And then beyond that, expanding the lodge into other states is another big goal. It's been such an exciting thing working with Andrew and Doug Polk and our team there. So lots of exciting things on the horizon. I think within the next couple of years, I could probably accomplish those goals.
Okay, thank you.
Cool.
Yeah?
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So much for your time, man.
Yeah, thank you.